all right, Leo, it turns out we got some things wrong.
No.
When we discuss SecureBlue. Yeah.
Mm-mm. I don't believe it. That's not true.
Well, thankfully the internet was there to correct us on it. I mean, thankfully. That's just great.
Not just the internet. Their RoyalOughtness actually helped us get not only just a better understanding of what SecureBlue is, what it does, and where it stands in kind of the hierarchy of immutables, which is not the right word, apparently, but we'll get to that.
Put a pin in that.
Also, just a better understanding of kind of how it all works. So,
yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, yeah, definitely thank you for reaching out. So, yeah, for context, RoyalOughtness, and I'll have a link to their GitHub page. They're the creator of SecureBlue, okay? And yeah, there's a difference there between SecureBlue and uBlue and whatnot. So
as I was stacking up the blocks, I kind of
layer them on, right? Yeah, no, absolutely.
Which is also to go back to what I said at the very beginning of this segment, not true.
Ish.
Okay, it's true. It's true.
Yeah,
but that's okay. Because I don't. This immutable thing is hard. And not only that, I think Jorge Castro, who is not one of the authors of SecureBlue, came out and said something to the effect of "immutable is not the right word to use."
It's not his preferred word. I mean,
well, I could have told you that. Nobody knows what that means.
But that's essentially where he was going with that, I think. So
good.
So if you want to know more about that, I'm just going to put a pin in this right now. If you want to know more about that, go check out Linux After Dark from the Late Night Linux family, episode 67, and I'll have a link to that in the show notes. It's a shortish episode, and George actually prefers a different word. He prefers composable. Okay.
Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say, I don't know that makes any more sense.
Doesn't make it better for you, huh?
if you go out to someone that might even be technically savvy and say, hey, have you tried the newest composable system? I don't know that you'll get anything other than deer in headlights. I mean, I get it. I mean, what is the very first thing that someone like that may say?
Right.
And I guarantee you it ain't SecureBlue. Probably going to be Nix.
Oh, yeah. Composable would kind of lends to think about Nix in a way. And it's similar. We talked about that, but it's not the same, right?
No, it's not.
Yep.
It's not.
Yep.
So,
well, here to add to the confusion, actually, in the release notes for Fedora 40, they actually talk about how they've rebranded again. The immutable things, and they've gone gone back to the atomic name.
Oh, okay, but that's cool, but also just as unintelligible, because most people check out once you hit atomic level sizes of things.
Yeah,
and so atomicity, I don't know, makes a whole lot of sense outside of developer circles.
Again, so, it falls in line with most things that are, Linux open source. They're just not named well. Sorry.
He said it. He said it, not me.
Yeah.
I didn't say that. But it's true. You're not wrong. So in the description of what was it? Late Night Linux? Was it?
The Linux After Dark.
Linux After Dark, an extension of Late Night Linux.
Yep, it's part of the family.
They describe it in the podcast like description or whatever, and they describe these types of systems as image based. And
that's better.
I'm no science man, but that's a little better. I think that is the word that we should be using, because the word image has been around for a very long time, and it's a bit of a static blob.
Yeah, snapshot.
That you plop on things.
Photograph. I mean, image. Right. That's where you go.
Yep.
Those are synonyms.
It's a block in time, right? If you're looking at a picture, an image, then it is a still, and that yeah.
And so these types of things get referred to as something that's Git-like, right? And so when you do like a checkout on a certain Git commit, that's like a snapshot in a way. Yeah. So I mean, it fits.
It's an image of the tree at a current time.
Exactly.
And yep. But we'll get to that, because that was a bit of revelation from me from their RoyalOughtness.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a bit of a click moment.
Right.
I was like, oh.
So,
it keeps getting fatter, and I kept wondering why. And okay, that makes sense.
So Yins ought to think about, how you named it.
He threw a Yins in there. Oh, feeling very Pennsylvania at the moment. Okay, I like it.
Anyway, RoyalOughtness does call us out, and here we go. UBlue itself isn't just Atomic Fedora with the restricted stuff included. UBlue doesn't consider those images to be the UBlue end product, just the start of the pipeline. And he's got a link here. It says their end products are Bluefin, Bazzite, and Ucore. All right, so I want to take take a minute here and say, UBlue. We here's some of where we went wrong. UBlue is not the product; it's the project. Okay.
There we go.
Yep.
Yeah. Goes through UBlue. You end up with something after you add your flavor to it, and those things tend to be your SecureBlues, your like Bluefin type projects as well.
Right.
So
and Bazzite, check that one out too. Yeah.
Right. And Aurora, I'll have more to say on that at the end of all of this, because it turns out that's been tinkering with that just a little bit to try and figure all this out.
Mm-hmm. We're not done.
There's a lot.
We're not done.
Yeah, there's more.
Yeah. So SecureBlue is taking the base images from their initial pipeline and making hardened versions of those images. This is for a couple of reasons. One is that SecureBlue is completely separate from the UBlue project, and we have completely different goals. The other is that we want to stay close to Fedora upstream, aside from the hardening.
Right. So if you think about it, right, you have your SilverBlue way up here, and then your UBlue that you can create new projects out of.
Right.
And then there's a branch, right?
Yep.
Your Bluefins. I can never remember the name of the Bluefin project because it's a dinosaur, and the dinosaur that they have doesn't have fins.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Yins need to look at this because Yins don't have fins. So anyway, so it's hard for me to remember that thing. But anyway, so Bluefin and over here, and then you have your SecureBlues over here, and then you could possibly have, and I'm sure there are more projects that branch off of that kind of thing. It's confusing. I feel like a pretty seasoned.
I thought we were, and every time I say that, and then every time I figure out we're not.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a degree in packageology.
I don't either. I've manipulated a couple every once in a bit, but nope, definitely not.
So it's hard. But maybe we go on a learning dive here pretty soon and kind of figure that out.
I think it's on the radar.
Anyway, maybe.
So speaking of hardening, the reason Wayland support is a requirement isn't a result of being based on Fedora. It's because Xorg is fundamentally insecure.
Yeah, we've been pushing toward Wayland a whole lot, and this is one of the reasons.
We've said this. I know we've said this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They mention xkbcat, which is a way to basically add a keylogger to Xorg and just kind of
just
do keylogger things, right?
Just to re-summarize again, hey, any of those Xorg things, they can all check on each other, if you will, unrestricted. So
think about XEyes. You know how it knows how you're in other apps?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that works for your keyboard too.
Yep.
So,
and
all
the other devices, absolutely everything that all your input can be smeared around to all the other things. Think about that for a minute.
Yeah,
and so,
sure enough.
So, and a lot of the gripes about Wayland and why it's not ready and all of that stuff, it's because of the added security, folks. It's because you don't, you see people complain, well, I can't screen share or I can't screen capture. Well, yes, because we need to allow permission for that. That's other operating systems have been doing that thing for a while. And we are really late to the game. And so all of that stuff that you say is terrible and it won't work, it's because we're taking security into account here. Anyway,
exactly.
That's my social soapbox.
And that's where RO kind of continues on to get to this whole, and we've compared it to a slider a lot of times, right? Where you have security on one side, usability on the other, and you just have to decide where you want to be on that slider.
That's true.
The further toward usability you go, the further away from security you become. So
you've got
keep that in mind.
Convenience on one end and security, secure on the other end. Somewhere in the middle is probably where most of us are, but how far to each side do you want to get, right?
Exactly. And I think SecureBlue takes us a little closer to the security side.
For sure.
With a lot of the things that they change,
And he'll talk about it here. SecureBlue is making impactful improvements to security. So one might ask why Fedora wouldn't want these changes upstream. And to their credit, Fedora does get a lot right. They are one of the only community distros with SE Linux enabled and enforcing it out of the box. And they're actively working on hardening systemd services by default. However, SecureBlue goes several steps further, with the caveat that changes SecureBlue makes may cause increased user inconvenience in some areas. So right
that's
there,
what we're talking about.
That's
right?
it. That's it right there. I'm okay with it. It's cool.
Yeah, and this one.
Yeah.
So I was kind of opining that, if we could just have a very specific, like SecureBlue images based on uBlue, with, framework stuff built in. Well, turns out they took care of that as well. So they say, like I mentioned before, uBlue and SecureBlue have different goals, but SecureBlue is already taking uBlue images as base images, so there's no need. Also, as an FYI, here's the important part, uBlue has deprecated the framework base images as the changes that went into them are no longer needed. My framework, right over here. So for SecureBlue and uBlue alike, framework users have been instructed to move to the main versions of whatever image they're using. And I'm gonna say real quick. So I've been using the not Bluefin, but the KDE one, which is called Aurora. And I've never seen this battery last this long. And I'm pretty sure it's like at 88% health. And I'm talking day one, the battery didn't last this long. So we're saying, and Oughtness is correct in that for 40, the line is basically, this is deprecated. Don't use the framework image anymore. It's just built in now. You're telling me that I'm just going to get battery life like this from this kernel on? That's fantastic. It's amazing.
Well, I think that's a benchmark you need to undergo there, Leo. I really do. I mean, you know what you got now, so can you get the same thing on the later version?
Yeah, and I think the Aurora that I'm running right now is based off Fedora 39, so that means that when I do the upgrade, which just dropped today, right? The
yesterday.
Fedora thing.
Well, as we record, today is Wednesday, the 24th of April, right? So yesterday, Tuesday, April 23rd, Fedora 40 dropped, right? And so everything that goes along with that, it follows along, right?
Okay, so I imagine all the automation.
I noticed, I at least noticed that SecureBlue and all of the upstream Fedora, if you will, all of those were created day one. They're out.
Okay.
So I would imagine the uBlue and all of the other things are right here real soon now.
Okay, so this is really where my deficiencies on the immutables, aka composables, aka, in my opinion, the better one, image-based operating systems is really going to show. I don't know how to do that. I think so with I'm on Aurora right now. I think my intention is to kind of get familiar with how to jump from one to another to another to another to another, which is one of the big strengths of these image-based distributions. And so I could just hop to the SecureBlue one, and it looks like they're in the GitHub. There looks like to be a SecureBlue Aurora version. Right. So I think I can get like the best of all the worlds.
Yeah, I think it's just an RPM OS tree command away.
Right. The thing that I couldn't get was like, where exactly do I point it to for the Aurora one? Because it didn't
I think
seem
it was
to
actually
me to be.
I'll dig it up maybe if I can.
Okay.
Because I think I think there were instructions from what I recall.
There are, and you got to dig into each project. Yeah, you got to. Yeah, that's the thing. You got to dig in pretty far to find each individual project's like URL naming.
Yeah, you just need to know the name. Yeah,
exactly. So, once I get myself a little notepad full of all the different images that I want to be able to rebase onto when I decide that I want to do that. Then I think I'll be in a much better place or whatever. But I do like the fact that, and it sounds like I can get this with the SecureBlue version of it, that the Aurora and Bluefin ones have this thing called just, and I can just upgrade, and then it just takes care of things.
Cool.
And I can just distro box stuff, and I can just brew things so that I can bring in like command line packages that normally would have been in RPM that you would have had to layer in there, but instead you can take advantage of Homebrew or a distro box container to bring in these applications and then also integrate them into your operating system so that you don't have to worry about the layering and then the unlayering that you have to do every single time that you have to change a major version. It gets kind of complicated, so it's no wonder.
Yeah, I know when we did SecureBlue and Kinoite and Seracia, whatever that is.
Seracia?
I don't know. I struggle with that one.
I don't know English very good most days.
Well, is that actually English?
But someday me knows English a little good, and me thinks that might be Seracia.
Sure.
Internet help.
Oh, please send help.
I think it's Seracia.
I don't know. Anyway, that one.
I don't either. I'm no herbologist, so
yeah, I struggle whether it's a tree or herb. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
because I see both in the Wikipedia.
Do you pronounce the H in herb?
I did there because you did. It's
all
your fault.
I normally don't.
I don't either.
So,
it's herb.
But it's herb, right?
Herb,
right?
Yeah.
Those of you in Europe.
Well, I mean, Herbie was a car.
Right. It was a Volkswagen Bug.
Yep.
Matter of fact. And Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah, or even before that, right?
No, Lindsay Lohan was the very first Herbie movie ever.
Okay, I'm feeling old now. Because I remember the original.
I'm trying to stir the internet pot. Come on.
Yeah, right. Anyway, what were we talking about? Yeah,
we're talking about
the names of those things. I remember when we did those.
Realigning.
I really tried really hard not to layer stuff on. I tried to stick to either Flatpak application or using DistroBox for the CLI stuff for me, something like that. That's what I tried to do.
Yeah, Well, because applications like Cider, because I paid money to the Cider guys because I like the Cider guys. I like what they're doing because it allows you to use Apple Music on Linux, and I wanted to use the newest, and I also wanted to give them money. So why not kill two birds with one stone? So I bought it on itch.io, and they have RPMs, which was my first thought on a Fedora, but that would require me to layer, and if any of the libraries that RPM depended on changed during a 39 to 40 or 40 to 41 changed, I would have to uninstall/unlayer that package first, and then upgrade, and then relayer it. That's too much effort. Way too much effort. So I'm trying the app image this time.
Yeah, sure. That makes sense.
Which, did you know Fuse 2 is still packaged in Fedora 39?
Well, it is in Ubuntu too, but it's not installed by default.
Well, you got to install it after the fact. Okay, let me rephrase. It's installed by default in Fedora 39, that's interesting. But
sure,
it's not
they're co-installable, but I mean, do you really want that? I don't know.
I want my app images to work.
I know. Well, it'd be nice if app images worked with the Fuse 3. That's all I'm saying.
Them's fighting words.
Yep, they really are. Internet. Yep.
I want it to be easy, and I think immutables in general aren't easy to just hop into and understand.
Yeah, it takes a minute. I don't think that's not a launching place. That's not where the new folks go. Might not be for everybody, but I do think it's a future thing that we'll see more of. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So I've pitched the idea. I don't know if we've solidified on it, but I really do want to learn a lot more about these image-based distros, and to do that, you just have to be on them a lot and use them a lot.
Definitely needs more time than we've spent on it.
Right. So what I'm thinking is maybe your feedback will help steer it. Do we maybe in season 5, after the whole Gen 2 thing calms down, do we move into immutables and try to...
Yeah, is that a longer-term exploration that we should be doing? Question mark? Yeah.
Because it's definitely interesting to me, and I know that there's a lot of buzz about it in general.
Oh,
but
so
is it
much,
something that...
So much so. I think we started it. It's the Lus effect.
There's this thing. I don't know that it's real, but I want to believe that it is. Because every time we bring up one of these controversial topics, all of a sudden somebody important also brings it up. Interesting.
I mean, I feel like we kind of kicked it off with the Endless episode. That was a while ago now.
I mean, listen, all I'm saying is it's after it happens like 6 times, maybe it's more than a coincidence.
I think so.
I don't know. Do we have the finger on the pulse of where everything is going? Or are we the pulse?
Wow, that's cool.
Well, to find out if we're the pulse or not, catch these and other great topics as they unfold on our Lemmy, our subreddit, our news channel on Discord, wherever you go. We got the Lemmy at lemmy.linuxuserspace.show, but we also have linuxuserspace.show/Lemmy.
That works
that's
too.
a lot of typing. So lus.sh/the-thing, Lemmy.
This should work.
Or Reddit, or Discord, or Mastodon, or Telegram, or Matrix, or Twitch, or Twitter. We have all the things.
We do.
And who did I promise? I promised somebody. Maybe it was BGT.
Okay.
We have slacked off a little bit on the live streams. And
we have. Most of that is
because, listen, remember that one time that we skipped an episode drop? So life.
We've definitely had that. Yep. That's been an interruption.
So life happens a lot here recently, it turns out. So it's makes things real hard.
It's been hard.
Yeah. We pushed today a day, and then stuff happened today that almost made it not even happen again.
Yeah.
But we squeezed it in. I think we're good.
We're far enough along that,
Man,
yeah, something's going to happen.
Yeah. Linus, help me. We'll get this episode out on time.
Yep.
And things will go. But, in the meantime, go check us out. Because, it takes a long time to sit down and record an episode, to produce the episode, to master the episode, to push out the episode, to make the thumbnails, do all that stuff, right? But in between all of that stuff, there's a way to get more Linux user space, and that's all those ways, right? You can talk to us directly on Discord. You can add us on Mastodon. Same with Telegram. Same with Matrix. You can watch us live in our downtime on Twitch. So get involved. Hang out with us a little bit. If you're curious about where the show is going, if you like the way the show is going already, let us know. However that is, just hang out with us a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we'll get where we need to go.